So, when you think of Les Misérables, you probably think of the incredible songs, right? The epic movie versions. But beneath all of that, Victor Hugo's masterpiece is actually a deep, philosophical duel. It's a battle of ideas about justice, mercy, and the law. And honestly, it still challenges us today.
And let's just dive right in with Hugo's own mission statement. I mean, look at this. He wasn't just telling a story. He was throwing down a gauntlet, a call to action against the biggest injustices of his time, and maybe of ours too.
All right, so picture this, 19th century France. It's a mess. Society's dealing with revolutions, massive poverty, and a legal system that's just brutal. Hugo called these systems artificial hells on earth, basically machines designed to crush the very people they were supposed to be serving.
And if you need one number to understand that world, it's this one, 19 years. Let that sink in. That was the prison sentence Jean Valjean got for stealing a single loaf of bread. A loaf of bread to feed his sister's starving child. A moment of desperation met with almost 2 decades of pure brutality.
See, Hugo was absolutely laser-focused on this stuff. For him, the story was a way to expose what he called the 3 great problems of the century. First, how poverty just degrades and destroys men. Second, how hunger forces women into absolutely impossible situations. And third, how a lack of opportunity, what he called a lack of light, stunts the future of children before they even have a chance. Now, out of this world of misery, we get our 2 central figures. And they're not just characters, they're like walking, breathing philosophies. They represent 2 totally opposite ways of responding to an unjust world. And this, right here, is the central duel of the whole novel. So on one side, you've got Inspector Javert, and this guy is the poster child for legalism. For him, the law isn't just a bunch of rules. It's sacred, it's absolute. There's no gray area, no room for context. You just follow the law, period. And what's so fascinating is how their journeys are complete opposites. Look at this. Javert was born inside the system, in a prison, and he dedicates his life to upholding it with this almost religious zeal. Valjean, on the other hand, is completely broken by that same system, and so he's forced to find a new moral compass outside of it, one built not on rules, but on compassion. So, what could possibly change a man like Valjean? It all comes down to this one incredible moment. After he gets out of prison, he steals silver from Bishop Myriel, the only person who showed him any kindness at all. But when he's caught, the bishop lies to the police, says it was a gift, and then says these words to him. This one radical, unbelievable act of mercy is what completely remakes Valjean from the ground up. But here's the twist. That single act of grace sets Valjean on a path of redemption, right? He becomes a mayor, a hero to others. But it also puts him on a collision course with Javert, who just cannot compute a world where a criminal can be anything other than a criminal. And so begins one of the greatest pursuits in all of literature. For nearly 2 decades, this cat-and-mouse game just plays out across France. Valjean is busy building this new identity, one rooted in goodness and helping people, while Javert's obsession with the letter of the law becomes his entire reason for living. He's hunting the one man who, in his mind, proves that the system can be wrong.
And this long duel finally reaches its climax right here. We're on the barricades of the 1832 June Rebellion in Paris. This is where the world of rigid law and the world of radical mercy are about to collide, head on.
The situation is completely flipped on its head. Javert, who was working as a spy, gets captured by the revolutionaries. And guess who they give the job of executing him to? His lifelong nemesis, Jean Valjean. Valjean finally has the power to get rid of the man who has hunted him for years.
But this isn't some simple story of good versus evil. Valjean doesn't take revenge. No, instead, he does the one thing Javert could never expect. He mirrors the mercy that the bishop showed him all those years ago. He cuts Javert's bonds and lets him go free. And for Javert, this one act is like a virus that crashes his entire operating system.
So let's just break down what's going on in Javert's head here, because it's brilliant. His whole life has been one straight line. The law is the law. But now, Valjean's mercy has introduced another, contradictory line, a higher moral code. He's trapped. He can't arrest Valjean because that would be immoral, but he can't let him go because that's unlawful. Faced with a paradox he can't solve, his entire world, his entire identity, just shatters.
So in the end, Javert's tragedy isn't just about one man's downfall. It's actually the key that unlocks Victor Hugo's entire message for us, for the readers. Through this epic duel, Hugo is making a powerful case for something we might call compassionate justice. He's tearing down the idea that you can just blindly follow rules without considering human beings. He's arguing that real justice has to leave room for redemption, for mercy, and for all the beautiful complexities of the human heart.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Hugo's novel leaves us with the same challenge it began with. He forces us to look around at our own world and ask, where do ignorance and poverty still exist? And what are we, really, doing to challenge the systems that create them? It's a question that was urgent 160 years ago and, well, it's just as vital today.